everybody. Welcome to Mid-America Dirt. I am Skip, and I am joined by Greg Deatherage. Super excited to have you here, Greg. How you doing today?
I'm excellent. Thanks for having me.
Hey, how excited are you about this last weekend's racing activities up in Ohio?
Well, JD, wears our product, and so him third dream in a row. It's a lot of exposure there, and JD, God, he's so good at Eldora. It amazes me. So
It is, man. I haven't been there since I think I was there in '91. I was a kid and watched the '91 World 100, and it was, golly, man, that was amazing.
yeah, it is. That
Really,
place is a bucket list for sure. I love going there, and it's I mean, there's a lot of great tracks, but that's one everyone needs to go to. So
absolutely. I'll tell you this: it is the dirtiest I've gotten watching a race that I know of ever. We were absolutely covered in dirt. It was awesome.
you hadn't been to the dome yet, though, have you?
I have.
Okay.
I have. But now listen, we were on turns one, sitting on the lawn chair area on the concrete. So we were getting blasted the whole race. It was great. And for me, an Arkansas guy, it was awesome to see Timmy Culp. I mean, he went up there and held his own with those guys.
Timmy buys his contact lenses from us, and then his mother buys her glasses from us. So yeah, anyone that a lot of people in the racing, people support. You always want to support those that support racing, and
oh, absolutely.
And that this sport has done really.
Right here.
It's been. I'm very blessed. This sport is what they've done for me. But we've got a product that the drivers. It helps the drivers. One thing JD will tell you, it's and your eyesight's pretty important in that race car, and being able to see the groove and I like what he said on that Kenny Wallace podcast. He said, I used to be able to see a 3/4. I mean, I used to see if there was a wrench on the racetrack. Now that I got some Deatherage optics, I can see if it's a 3/4 or 5/16 or something like that. I don't know what it was, but he was just kidding. But it's JD's been a dear friend of mine, and man, I've met some good people in this sport. Of course, I've been around it since I was a toddler. So
let's talk about that. How deep does your racing history go? I mean, where does it start for you, and what was it for you?
My dad was a professional motorcycle flat track racer. A lot. I see you got a Brian Shirley deal up there on their wall. Brian was a professional motorcycle racer too, flat tracker. And then like Brian, he moved into cars, and then he survived two fiery crashes, or one fiery crash, and it was with Larry Phillips and Rusty Wallace and Dr. Busby out of Fort Smith, Arkansas, and that was in 1978. He had been burned the previous year in his race shop had burned up, so he was burned 47% third degree burns. So he overcame that, and that's how him and Larry Phillips raced a lot together. And then you see you got Moyer up there. Moyer come on the scene about 81, so we did a lot of traveling with him. My dad came down with cancer in 91, and he passed away in 98, I'm sorry. And I started racing in 90. Did a lot of dirt, did some dirt late model, did some dirt modified, but then it progressed to a lot of asphalt late model stuff. We had a good series here in Texas back then. So, and I did that till I was about 05. And then I had my oldest son, I could tell he had a lot of talent for baseball. So we did the baseball thing, and he played 6 years of college baseball and still in the game. So I shut my racing stuff down personally in 05 or so. And I still go the races all the time. But I would say it was around COVID year when we come up with this high definition zero glare lens, and I got so lucky because in about 2016 or 15 or 16, I had went up to Jonathan Davenport, didn't even know him, just gave him my business card, and then you always think, no, that guy's not going to call. and he called on
Right.
Monday and ordered 3 or 4 pairs of sunglasses for his wife and his kid and him. And so he sent me his credit card, and he told me, he said, don't give me a discount. Well, it was just happened right after we come up with that high definition zero glare lens that he said, man, I'm going to go to eye doctor, get an eye exam. And he did. And he was the first one that purchased one of our racing glasses. So, and he won $2 million, so, Clark Kent,
Yeah.
Jonathan Davenport, Superman, Clark Kent, whatever you want to call him. But, and then it just snowballed, then, Donnie Schatz, when he first got his, he won the King's Royal, Madden went on a tear there. And your eyesight, the non-glare is where it's at, because you get so much glare off your tear-offs and the lights on the racetrack, and you can't see the groove, and you can't see. That's where JD is so good, is he can pick up when it starts to rubber up or where there's a hole at better than anyone else. And a lot of people,
And there are some holes in that track. I
there
mean,
is,
I walked that track after this race, and people that don't know anything about racing would not believe how rough what's out there. They just wouldn't believe it.
and if you avoid
Really.
that, you can, if you, and like JD did, he could enter one lane the way he was doing it, and but your eyes are so important, and so it's
Yeah, I know. Greg Deatherage is not sponsoring this video, y'all, but I am wearing his glasses on my face, and let me tell you, they got a beating from that dirt up there in Eldora watching that race, and they're still good. And we drove hours and hours. So yeah, they're awesome. And I believe you hooked me up with the non-glare.
Yes, you do. You do. So
Yeah.
like at night when you're driving, you don't see that oncoming haze effects and all that. So, but so I was born in this sport. I was born in this sport, and still involved. I'll be 53 this year. I am very blessed. It's a great sport. And support those that support racing. When I go get to O'Reilly's, I shop O'Reilly's because they're usually involved in racing. And when I go there, I always buy Lucas Oil product because they're involved in
Absolutely.
racing. When it's time to, I met a guy this weekend when I went to the races weekend. He's a metal. He paints metal buildings, and he bought 2 or 3 pairs from me today, and he was telling me how to. Anyway, I said, "Well, I'm going to use you when it's time." So it it's
Sure.
It's how the racing world works. They're very loyal.
Absolutely.
So,
and for people that don't know, you sponsor
how easy
a lot of racing.
A lot of people think I'm in Texas. This is too inconvenient or whatever, but it's not. All you do is you go to your local eye doctor. You can go into optometrist, your local optometrist. Even some Walmarts, Targets, Costco's have some eye doctors. You get your prescription, you text it to me, and and then I send you the 3 frames that we make that go in the helmet correctly. And they're also 3 of the most popular frames. So if you're not a racer, I'm going to shoot you a text of the 3 best frames. And it's a simple.
And you did. And you did me.
Yeah. And a week later, your glasses will show up with a high definition zero glare lens. And I've never, you'll rave about it. And I want to be the last place that you buy glasses from. So I want to your repeat business and the word of mouth. The word of mouth is so important. You telling people, man, these optics are so much better than wherever else you go. So we modify the frames on the racing frames where they don't hit the back of the helmet. They go straight in, so we've got a lot, but I don't care if it's Jonathan Davenport or a local hobby stock racer. We treat everybody the same. You're going to get the best service. You're going to get the same pricing, the discount. We give the racers a 30% discount. So not only are you getting the superior product, but you're going to get a discount. So our service, I don't care I don't care if you crew for a hobby stock guy, you're going to get the same service as Jonathan Davenport's crew guy. So,
I got you. But you're not, I mean, you won't just sell the racers. I mean, anybody that watches
anybody.
this video,
And, a lot of people think we just do prescriptions. If you need a Father's Day,
sunglasses.
yeah, we have Ray-Ban, we have
Yeah.
Oakley, we have Costamar, we have My Gym, we have in the women's section, we have every line, Tory Burch, Gucci. I mean, just the list goes on and on. So even if you just want non-prescription, we have that. So
Right.
support those that support racing. And I'm easy to get a hold of. My I don't mind giving you my text me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it up here so
Okay.
people can see it
Okay.
when I edit it, so people will be able to see that, and I'll link your stuff in the video. But now, anybody that watches this video, all they have to do is go get their eyes examined,
Text that
and then
to me,
get a hold of you, and text that to you, and they can buy
and
the
then I
glasses
will
for
send
you.
you
Folks, please do that.
and I'll
Please
send
do
you
that.
the 3 best frames in sunglasses or regular glasses. Then you choose that, and then wait about a week or so, and you'll be wearing our glasses. And
Yeah. I mean, it was quick. I mean, I got
we
my
will
quick.
start a friendship or business relationship from that point on. I love seeing people at the races come up to me, so I just love racing, and I love helping racers and race fans.
Let me ask you some new fan questions that I ask everybody. I'm going to ask everybody that I have on here. How awesome is it to drive a race car?
Well, the sensation and just the adrenaline, it's like no other. When you come out on that racetrack and you look in the stands and you see, and now that all the streaming's on watching you, it's just it's just a adrenaline rush that's it's crazy, and it's
gotta be awesome.
I mean, I get chills just watching Fairbury and some of that stuff. And Eldor and the Show Me and the little stuff. And that's why I always I never miss the Dome. Have not missed the Dome ever, and I don't miss the Chili Bowl very often. It's because it's an event. You're in the wintertime, and hey man, we gotta have our racing fix. So
Right.
Go to the Dome, go to the Chili Bowl. Support those. I do a lot of sprint car and a lot of midgets racers too. A lot of Donnie Schatz. I do all his family. Sammy Swindell. I do all his stuff. But I'm just not name dropping there. I don't care if you're Joe Blow and you race. I'm going to treat you the same.
Well,
I'm going to
tell you. I talked to a local driver that said that they know that you helped a local driver out with glasses when he was colorblind. I don't remember the guy's name. The guy that I talked to is going to be on here later, but he said that he called you and you helped him out with some colorblind.
Yeah, we have a lens that can fix that. There's about 6 really, really good drivers touring the series, a couple series that are colorblind. I won't say their names because but I've always thought, boy, if I'm running second to them, I might want to race another lap past checkered flag just in case. But we've got them fixed up too. So, colorblind, the glare is where it's at, and the high definition lens. It's like I tell people people say, what is your high definition lens? Well, it's like my competitors. It's like some of the TV you bought 20 years ago and versus the TVs high definition TVs you get now. The clarity and how remember when the old days when big screen TV, if you got off to the side, how it distorted.
Yes.
Yes. And that's what we did. We've made the whole lens. We perfected that where there's no distortion.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm wearing them. I know for a fact that is the case. That is the case. I did see, and you're name dropping and all that, but I went to Creek County Speedway, did my first video, and people can watch that video. It's video number 1 on my YouTube channel. Look down there on those banners, and it is Deatherage Opticians down there on that banner for the Red Dirt Series.
Oh yes, and
on
there's
there.
one thing I'll explain something there. My business motto has always been, um, I don't, and people respect this because if I say yes to one, I got to say it to all. But I have never sponsored a particular race car driver. What I do is I
Yep.
sponsor the series and throw money at I'm on Choose Cone and I help with the flow. I get a commercial on
Yep.
flow. So that way, I mean, every now about you wouldn't be. I thought I'd be hit up more, but they'll say, "Hey, do you sponsor racers?" And I have to tell them, I want to be on the, I'm retail here, so I want everybody buying from me. So I put my money in advertising through the series, the Rev series, the USMTS, the USRA, the World of Outlaw. There's commercials on a lot of that stuff that you'll see. Race and Dirt's
Right.
been really good to me. So um, Jonathan Davenport pays the same thing as you will pay, but it's something like I tell someone, here's what it's like. Say you spend $500 on a pair of glasses. Let's just say that, and but a racer will spend $500 on a new set of rear tires to go fast one race. Well, you could spend
Right.
$500 to go fast for 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the performance based,
Absolutely.
we got a performance based product, so it's going to make you better. And
Right.
so, I just I'm very blessed, and um, just we do a lot of merch. A lot of people. I've always wondered why our merch would take off like it did, but somebody says, "Well, you don't have the most usual name, Deatherage. It kind of fits with racing, and of course my dad's been he was a uh, traveling late model racer all over the Midwest in the 70s and 80s, and then I did a lot of racing, but the Deatherage name has been around a long time. So I'm actually James Essex got me on the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame voting committee. So I've been on that for about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, nice.
So actually,
Oh, that's
was
cool.
really proud. Up your way is Al Perky, got him in last year. He's a dear friend of mine. Our dads
Yes,
raced
I do.
together.
I remember that name.
So I worked
Yes.
hard on that. Al's a great guy. But anyway, um, we've got some cool people going in this year that I know really well. Kyle Burke's going in. He's bought all his eyewear from me forever, and but anyway, we just we like helping racers, and like I say, it's don't matter. We do the drag market. We're in the drag market too. We're in the I got one guy that a lot of go-karters, but I've got one guy that's an RC guy, and um, he's like he's two-time Chili Bowl RC champion. Yeah, but and it don't have to be a racer. Anyone watching this show, hey,
Right.
try me out. It's 100% guarantee. And all my lenses come with a warranty. If you scratch them, we remake them for no charge. You just got to pay for shipping to get it back. So anyway.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But the best way to get a hold of me, deatherageopticians.com, or we're really active on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm sure
And
you
I'll
put a
link
link
all
on.
that for
Yeah.
you people in the description.
And I'd like to help you. I love what you're starting here or getting going here. And,
I'm just getting going, Greg.
You've reached out.
Hey, folks, I talked to Greg. I asked Greg before I ever started this. He got me my glasses. I've talked to him. I know how great a guy he is. So I talked to you before and asked you if you thought it was a good idea. And you said it was, but I haven't even started doing what I asked you about, which is traveling the tracks. It's been kind of hard to get in to see these guys. I mean, they're busy. I mean, they're super busy.
Yeah, but
They don't have a
what
lot
you're
of
trying
time.
to do, what you said you were doing, it's going to help the racetracks get there some exposure and get to know the owner, the promoters and everything. And
Sure.
me being around the racing community, I know a lot of them, and I'm going to help you repay you for helping me on the show. And it's all about it's I was born and raised to it's not about it's whatever you help me, I help you. It's I was taught to be very unselfish, so I want to help.
Oh,
I want to help anyone.
absolutely. I mean this. If 1 million people, folks, let's make Greg so busy that he can't go to a dirt track race. He'll be so busy. Greg, is that possible?
I'd hire some more people, but I'm going to be at the racetrack. You're not going to keep me from the racetrack. I
Absolutely.
just, no, I enjoy it too much. I'm a
Yeah,
junkie.
I got you.
I'm a junkie. My dad used to say he wanted to start a rehab hospital for to get racing out of your blood. Because once it gets in, you can't get off it. It's your addiction. So he wanted a racer's rehab where you have to go. But I'm gonna tell you, if you ever do it, you got Billy Moyer's stuff up there. Billy Moyer's son, he quit cold turkey. He won't even go to the race. He won't even have, and you got to do that. You can't, you'll get you'll get the bug again. So, and
Well, this is how important it is. I did, like I said, I mean,
you got
that
some
was
cool
my
stuff
guy
up there.
when I was a
You got,
kid.
I see you got Gordy Gundaker. My dad raced with Kevin. They were good friends. You got you got Brian Shirley. He's one of my heroes because he raced motorcycles. Anybody that does that on a mile racetrack's nuts. He was actually a grand
Yes,
national champion. Then you got Turbo there. Of course, I'm proud of him. He's from Texas. We're good
absolutely.
friends. Of course, Davenport you got up there, and then you got you got Midwest Sheet Metal. Chris Davis owns that. He's a good friend of mine. He buys his glasses from me, and Ethan Dodson. He's actually sold a car to a friend of mine, Terry Phillips. They're going to start racing late models again.
Are they really?
Just on
Oh
off
man.
weekends from odds. And so you got
Well,
some
I
good
mean,
stuff there.
going to West Plains when I was a kid, it was always. I mean, Terry and Larry Phillips were always there.
West Plains was cool. I mean, I love Wheatland, but West Plains, man, the crowd and the campers and the just the good old days. But still,
Can I ask you a question real quick? Because you're probably the guy to ask. I remember going to West Plains when I was a kid, coming out of that place covered in rubber. Nowadays, you don't ever see rubber. Is it just a tire change or what happened there?
well, the
Do you
rubber's
know what
on
I'm
the
saying?
racetrack. The rubber's on the racetrack. So only thing I can think is maybe you. I really don't. That's a good question.
Different compounds.
There is, but one thing that's changed since then is I was telling somebody about this today, but back in the day, tracks would water the track. I mean, probably more than they should have, and then they would wheel pack. Well, you don't see late models out there wheel packing anymore. So, and it
Right.
used to be in time trials or heat race, the track was kind of greasy, slimy, and then they used to run trophy dashes in the weekly part, and then it would be hammered down. And towards the end of the feature, it would start to dry out. Then if you didn't wet the track enough, then they'd take rubber at the end of the night. But now they farm the track so much now, they can keep a track so good right now. You've been around racing enough. You remember when Bloomquist or Moyer or whoever win a race, they'd come down in the infield and they try to spin some mud to get mud more. There's no mud down there anymore. It's a different surface than it was 30, 40 years ago. So,
Yeah.
Davenport won by 10 seconds this weekend, and he went across the scales 100 pounds heavy.
Overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, wow, what a race.
Yeah.
I mean, what a weekend of racing. I mean,
came from 13th. It wasn't like, you can't say, well, he started up front. He worked his way through there. And
I literally got up, went to the bathroom, came back. He was 13 and he was in fourth. And then on that next restart, I think it was the next
and then
restart.
how about Nick Hoffman getting lapped and then unlapping himself through and coming up to third. Speaking of him, he makes Nick wears a contact lens that we make that it's a throwaway after every race. So I can't get Nick to wear racing glasses, but Nick does wear our contacts. So Nick's a great kid. He's can drive anything. You see him at Chili Bowl.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
There's just some of those drivers, the Kyle Larsons, the Christopher Bells, the Ricky Thornton Jr., and Nick Hoffman that can drive anything. So
yeah, you're right.
I saw Ricky Thornton's interview the other day. He said he was quoted on Flow that he said Christopher Bell is a better overall racer than Kyle Larson. I thought that was brave. So
That is brave. That is brave. Really is. Let me ask you one more question, Greg, before you go. Why should people go out to their dirt track just in any weekend to watch the weekly race? What are they missing? Why should they go?
well, I think the biggest thing is you see too many racetracks closing and
Yeah,
abandoning. And the promoter needs seats. You need you in the seats, and if you don't, take time. You don't have to go every Saturday or Friday night or whatever, but try to make it a family fun and get to experience it and just if you in that way people just need to experience it. It's just um, biggest thing is just I don't want to see any more racetracks go by the wayside. I was just fortunate with my being with my dad growing up. I met so many people, and we were through. Now we've got cell phones and smartphones and text and Facebook, and I've reconnected with a lot of people I ain't seen in 40 years. Um, some of my heroes growing up, Charlie Swartz, some of those names, Larry Moore, reconnecting with them, Charlie make his glasses. Of course, you got Moyer up there. He just got a new pair today. Just reconnecting with old friends. The show and field header people right down the road from you, they've been dear friends. It's just it's a big fraternity. Racing is a big fraternity and
yeah,
generation. And here's what the problem is we're not getting that next generation involved. And so, that's why you got to, support your local racers. And, we need I don't know what the answer is, but we need a, where is it? I don't know, but a local track, a startup car class that people can get involved in, the least amount of money possible and get them started. And because I'm telling you, this next generation is the ones that are on the video games and the 2 minutes to that. But that's my opinion. But and
yeah,
the streaming deal, the racetrack needs to. I really hadn't looked at the streaming deal, how it works. All I know is a lot of people are using it, and I'm hoping that the racetracks are getting a part of the revenue because they're the ones supplying the entertainment, and they
absolutely.
they're paying the purse and they're paying all that. And I haven't looked in the business side of that, but I hope that everybody's working together on that deal because just because you pay for this service to watch it at this racetrack, that racetrack deserves a piece of the pie because without
Right,
them, there wouldn't be anyone paying to watch that race. My opinion.
right. Most important thing is though, people need to get out to that racetrack and watch a race. It is super awesome. And support people that support racing. And no matter who you are, folks, I mean, no matter where you're at in the country, if you need eyeglasses, contact Deatherage Opticians. Get your eyeglasses
Eyeglasses,
because,
contact lenses, merch,
yep,
regular sunglasses.
sunglasses.
Um, we would love your business, and I promise you won't be disappointed. I will.
I've got to get some Deatherage Opticians merch. We'll take care of that after this is over.
Yep.
I'm gonna have it. I've seen it.
But yeah, we. So you must have went to the Revs at the Sepulpa.
Creek County Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Creek County's owned
yeah,
by the Hahn
and
family, which buys their glasses from me. And so
yeah,
it's a small world. It's a small world, but it's a big world. I plan my weekends.
it is.
Um,
Uh,
the
Go
rain is
ahead.
really. I usually go every weekend, but the rain is really. I didn't go to the dream.
It's not looking.
I got scared of the dream. I got scared of the show me. I didn't go to the show me this year.
I didn't either.
So I got some neat stuff coming up. I'm gonna do some of the hill tour races, and then I'm gonna go to. I'm actually going to the USAC Silver Crown race at Hutchinson, Kansas. I went last year, and that is really neat. We do we do contacts for Logan CV and some of them open wheel guys, but I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to the Go for 50 in Deer Creek, Minnesota, and then the USA Nationals, and of course Fairbury. So, and then the topless, we'll do the topless this year in Batesville. And then Arrowhead's got a World of Outlaw show. And then Humboldt,
Yeah,
Kansas
I'm
has
looking
got a
forward to
World
that.
of Outlaw show, and so does 81.
I know, man. 81. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's really nice. I did see those I don't know if it was USAC, but at Red Dirt Raceway, the only time I went last year, we watched Seavey and all those other big guys race at that, and I literally had no idea what I was watching until later this year because I just didn't know who
That,
those guys were because I don't know a lot about sprint car drivers. So
that track
it
is
was
a
awesome.
great track at Meeker. That's the Brewer family runs that. They're actually closing it, sadly, but they do a great job, and hate to see that place go. But yeah,
One thing I did learn, I learned things from these podcasts. That's why I'm doing it. I did find out that his grandma and grandpa built that place originally, and I did not know that.
oh really?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Meeker,
I did not know. He said it was called Tri County or something like that back
it's
in the
had a
'80s,
lot
I
of
believe.
names. It's had a lot of
Yeah,
names. So
but I didn't know. I didn't know his Chris Willott Jr.'s. I didn't know his grandparents built that. So I'm learning things
yeah,
doing
okay.
this, and that's the point. But anyways, all right, Greg, I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you for coming on here, folks. I will put all the links to Greg's stuff in
Hey,
the description.
I'm not bashful. I want to help you out. Text me. Let's get going. Let's get started on your next pair. Get your local prescription. Text it to me. It'll
Absolutely.
be personally going to my personal text, and I want to build a relationship with you and help you at the races, either race fan, racer, pit crew, whatever. Let's get a form a partnership, friendship. I've texted you before. This is the first time we've ever I've
Absolutely.
seen each other, but it doesn't matter. I want to be a part of improving anyone's eyes out there, and hey, support those that sport racing. It's my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't say it better. All right. Thanks, Greg.